Shabbat Shalom. I do feel privileged to be here with all of you tonight. I was going to say that this is the first Shabbat. Actually, not only do I want to say Shabbat Shalom, pardon me, I also want to say Chodesh Tov, because today is Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan. And what that means is that we have, at least in my mind, a degree of normalcy. But of course, because we are no longer in the High Holy Days, and we have this 1 month without any sort of holidays, which I will say is just what this clergy needs. But I also know that this week has been anything but normal. I am grateful that we are here to ground ourselves in the beauty of Shabbat. And I am delighted that I can be here, that we can be here with you. And so to welcome in Shabbat, if you'd please take your Sidurim and turn open to page 142. Let's welcome in Shabbat with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyonim, Melech Malchei Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyonim, Melech Malchei Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, B'Melech
Shabbat Shalom and welcome everybody. I'm going to let him adjust it because that was a little too much for everybody.
Coming in hot.
I know you want to hear a heavenly voice, but that's still a little too much.
I mean, do you really want to hear this much of my voice? I doubt it. I'm a loudmouth anyway.
I was going to say that's been established, but it's not true yet. And it is actually the beginning of our 5th month here. Today's November 1st.
That's true.
Wow, time flies. I'm Rabbi Javier Catapan, and this is our cantor Lawrence, and we have Bert today and Phil joining us. Welcome.
I'm so glad you're here, Bert.
And I didn't catch his name. This is not Kyle. No, this is not Kyle.
No. Zach.
Zach.
So glad that you are here to help make sure that we are heard both here and in TV land. Sorry, live stream.
It's wonderful to be here again. Yes, this is the month of Cheshvan started, and I don't know how this got started. In Hebrew, the word for bitter is mar, and in Akkadian, the name of the month was Mar Cheshvan. So those who didn't know Akkadian but knew Hebrew said, oh, Cheshvan is a bitter month because it doesn't have any Jewish holidays. And as the cantor said, actually it's very sweet for us.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I really want to get
I
a
love
shirt.
Jewish holidays, but you know,
Happy
enough
to
is
see them
enough.
come, happy to see them go, and I really want, I want some help with some screen printing, if people know. I want a shirt that says Clergy Heart Cheshvan, like real badly.
But you know, this is also, November is the beginning of the holiday season for a lot of people in this part of the world. So we feel for them that now they get their holidays and they're going to have to start worrying about family and all those things. We do too, but in a different way.
Different way.
And I must say, I don't know what it is about Friday nights in West Michigan. It was raining this morning, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. And then in the afternoon, I looked out and the sun was coming out, and I said, it is going
Rabbi.
to be another beautiful evening
Please
to join
reveal to me
us
your secrets.
together. It's just so happened. We're so glad you decided to spend part of this beautiful evening inside with us. Every week we come together, and certainly, as you mentioned earlier today, this week, it's a good week that we wanted to be in the past. We cannot change it. We hope and pray that we can learn and try to do better next week. But Shabbat has arrived. Let us let go of judgment, kvetching, and anger, and discontent. We invite you to be fully present and join us as we celebrate Shabbat. I invite you to turn to page 121. Join us at the top of the page as these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them. So may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be those among who kindle light. Page 120, a week from this Shabbat, Ella will become a bat mitzvah, and we'd like to invite Bella and her family to light the candles and welcome. Shabbat is on page 120.
Please. Let's get the whole family involved. I could say Ella, Ella.
Mitzvah was Bella, and now we have Ella. That's how my brain.
Please do something. Not on fire, sorry. We'll say, Amen.
We continue welcoming Shabbat together on page 131, words from Psalm 96, Shiru Ladonai.
You mean,
I'm sorry. Did I say Shiru Ladonai? Again, I don't know what's going on in my brain. It's fried today.
That's the reason why, is because I forgot to change the page number. So that's on me. Al chet shechatati lifnechem. The error that I've done before you. The L'chuna Ranana is found on page 130 as opposed to 131.
Thank you.
So both of us have our moments.
Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena Adonai. נריע לצור אישנו, נקד בפניו בתודה. נריע לצור אישנו, בזמירות נריע לו. לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה לאדוני. 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 נריע לצור אישנו, נקד בפניו בתודה. נריע לצור אישנו, בזמירות נריע לו. לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה לאדוני. 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 Page 138, we continue together with verse Lecha Dodi. We are singing stanzas 1, 2, 5, and 9.
Never heard of this composer, though.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekavela.
Shalmor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Ishmi Emanuel hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, L'Shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekavela. Likrat Shabbat lecho v'nelcha, Hi mekor ha-beracha, Merosh mikanem nesucha, Sov ma'aseh b'machshava techila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekavela. Itporeri, itporeri, Ifa ore komi ori, ori ori shir daveri, Echot Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekavela. Please rise if you're able. Omi v'shalom ateret bala, gam v'simcha uv'tzola. Toch emunei am segula, omi chala, omi chala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekavela. I'll admit, when I first wrote that thing, I envisioned it as a jig, but never heard it really as a waltz. So it's kind of an interesting feel. We'll get there to it. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekavela at some point. Now, let's get a little Irish in you.
Our service continues on page 140, Psalm 92, Mizmor Shir. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
להגיד רבות את חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות. עלי עשור, עלי נבר, עלי היקיון וחינות.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
ולזמר לשמך עליון.
We continue on page 144 with Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויקדש שמי רבה,
אמן.
ועמד יפאר את הבל מכמלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי לכל בית ישראל. בגלה, בגלה, ובזמן כהנים, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם לעלמי עלמיה.
יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדל ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשו, בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתו.
תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה.
ואמרו אמן.
Please rise for Baruch on page 146.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
We remain standing. We turn to page 149 at the top of the page. We join together. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the tide of time and light. You guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Amariv Aravim. Continue on page 150.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אתה. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, לשופטנו ובקומנו, תעשה תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Page 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed.
154, you may be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברתם, ושבתך בביתך, ולכתך בדרך, ושופך ותחומך, וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת.
We continue together on page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Mi Chamocha is on page 158.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, נורא תהילות אוספנה, מלכותך רעות עליך, חוקי היום לפני משה ומרים, זייני, אנו ואומרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר גבעת אדוני את יעקב, ולמי על חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני על ישראל.
We continue together at the top of page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. The Shambro is on page 162.
ושמרו
בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות המדינות עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות המדינות עולם.
ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו
בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות המדינות עולם.
ששת ימים עשו אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו
בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות המדינות עולם.
וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות המדינות עולם. Our Amidah will begin in just a minute on page 164. It is our tradition to pray together the first three blessings and then do the rest silently. You may use the words in the Siddur, or you can also use your own words, and then you may take a seat after that. It is my obligation, my duty, to point out that on page 174, this is the very few times when Rosh Chodesh is on Shabbat, you get to, if you choose, to say the prayer on page 174 in the middle, only for Rosh Chodesh, Pesach, and Sukkot. So today is the day. If you ever wonder what's doing there on page 174.
Now you know.
It used to be that the Chazan will say, and now on this page, right, this week is this, and then,
See, I missed the little bulletin boards where you can slot out
They do,
different
yes,
numbers.
yes,
Yeah.
they have that,
Man, I wish
yes,
we had that here
yes.
a little bit. Paging all donors. Anyway.
Although when we switch from Mashiva, from Morida Geshem to Mashiva Ruach, which we
That is
just
helpful
did,
too.
that's helpful too. So anyways, but you got me, you don't need the board right now, so.
Yeah, who needs no stinking boards?
Page 164, please rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agitei latecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu Ve'imoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor VeHanorah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei HaKol Vezocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot Umevi Geula Livnei B'neihem Leman Shemo Ba'ava Melech Ozer Moshia U'Magen Baruch אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים וחסד, בחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. תומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני אחת. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ובידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצליח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, לחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך הסלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. Please continue privately. Shalom, shalom, bimromah. Yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromah. Yaseh shalom aleinu, aleinu. Oseh shalom, shalom bimromah. Yaseh
We now turn our thoughts to those in need of return and healing. We begin with the Misheberach for those in captivity. It's been 391 days since the tragic events of October 7th, 2023. May the one who blessed Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob, Leah and Rachel, bless, watch, and guard the captives, men, women, and young children, among others of the house of Israel, who found themselves in distress and captivity. May Adonai grant mercy upon them, take them out from darkness and gloom, break their chains, redeem them from their ordeals, and return them quickly to the comfort of their families. And may the words of the prophet Isaiah be fulfilled speedily in our own days. Then the ransom of Adonai shall return. And come with shouting to Zion. Crown, crowned with joy everlasting, they shall attain joy and gladness, while sorrow and sighing flee. And let us say, Amen. Our attention now turns to those closer to home, those of among us who are in need of healing of mind, body, and spirit. We offer these names: Jeannie Friedland, Irv Schwartz, Teresa Beagle, Connor Brom, Lawrence Krause, Marcia Margolis, Don Goodman, Pam Wellenstein, Penny Wenninger, Mindy Kahn, Ashley Sherman Hay, Dan Mankoff, Travis McReynolds, Tochekwe Ngore, Avi Forstein, Gary Haber-Kornhalm. As I go around the sanctuary, invite you to share other names starting on this side. Please. As we think of all those in need of healing, page 371, you can find the words for Mi Shabbat. May the one who blessed our ancestors bring blessings of strength, compassion, and healing to those of us who struggle with the oppression of addiction, emotional distress, and mental suffering. Surround them with loving kindness, grace, companionship, and peace.
Bless those in need of healing, with
countless generations of young children have been brought up on the fun story of Noah's Ark. Many nurseries are decorated with the themes of Noah's Ark, right? I mean, there are tzedakah boxes, all kind of cutesy things about Noah's Ark. What's not to like about it? Well, just wait and see. But the story really has it all. Cute animals, rainbows, olive branches. But have you ever wondered what's going on in the actual story? Why do they have to run for their lives into a claustrophobic ark? Maybe we should all take a second look at the story. I'm just saying, it might be time to live what sometimes we call pediatric Judaism and look at Noah's Ark and his story as what really is a tragic story of violence and destruction of global implications. I know you're going to go like, I'm going to redecorate that room. In his JPS Torah commentaries, and relatively new commentary, came out last year, Rabbi Garfinkel puts it this way. Quote, the ark was no cruise ship. The actual biblical text, and by the way, I must say, I've never been on a cruise. I get seasick very easily, so I don't know what it is, but I've seen pictures. I've not seen pictures of Noah's Ark, but it was not a cruise ship. The actual biblical text is, quote, a dark, dismal story, a tale of people who are left to mourn a lost and destroyed world. I tend to agree. The story is much darker than we would like it to be. Many students of ancient Near Eastern literature have pointed out that the story of a massive flood is not unique to the Torah. We have texts that talk about similar events, and those texts are significantly older than what we think the Torah is. Yet, what distinguishes our story from all other previous stories about great floods is that our story stresses the moral decisions of the people involved in the story, or lack thereof, as the case may be. It is not the same old story of gods and divinities saving their favorite human being, their hero. No, ours is the story about human disintegration and godly mistakes of planetary proportions. It is serious stuff, maybe not suitable for children. The question of who is performing evil acts and who is not seems more a matter of degree. According to the beginning of the story, at least, the people inside the ark may think that they were much better than the rest. They survived after all. Yet there is no indication that those selected to go into the ark were morally superior to those left behind. The Torah simply states, "Vatishachet haaretz lifnei haElohim." The earth became corrupt before God. The earth was filled with violence. It doesn't say a little bit here, a little bit there. Filled with violence. In this context, Noah and his family were noticed by God, presumably because they were, this is my assumption, less violent than the rest. In fact, many interpretations suggest that Noah was not as great as those who came after him. Although he was called righteous, he was only righteous in relative terms. It all goes back to the very beginning of this week's Torah portion, and the text simply says, "These is the line of Noah. Noah was a righteous man. He was blameless. Tamim haya bedorotav." He was blameless in his generation. The Torah is only interested in Noah so that it can contrast him later on with Abraham. Rabbi Maurice Adler once offered this observation, quote, "Nowhere did Noah show a feeling of sadness or pathos that an entire generation, the entire world indeed, was to be lost. At no time did a word of concern escape Noah's lips." In other words, Noah remained silent, facing the destruction of creation, unlike Abraham, who took up the case of Sodom and Gomorrah. Like a Rembrandt painting, we notice the light because of the shadows. Abraham and Sarah bring light into the world that, thus far, had only seen darkness, evil, and injustice. The great virtue of Abraham was not emunah, faith, as many think, but, and if you've been taking the class with us this week with Rabbi Lewis, the actual virtue that Abraham had was chesed, compassion, love, and empathy for his fellow human beings. Rabbi Adler puts it this way, quote, "There was a fatal flaw in Noah, and so he did not become the father of a new religion, a new faith, a new community. He lacked chesed, compassion." End quote. I don't recall who taught this to me, but early on in my studies of biblical exegesis, I learned that interpretations are often, if not always, more about the interpreter and her historical context than about the text itself. And I am guilty as charged of that as well. So a few days before a U.S. presidential election, I am drawn to the comparison between two very different types of leaders, Noah and Abraham. It is clear to me that the Jewish tradition favors Abraham over Noah. The Torah's focus on Abraham rather than Noah speaks to two fundamentally different styles of leadership. Noah represents a passive obedience, a style of leadership where he does as commanded but does not engage beyond that role. Noah's actions are virtuous in following orders, yet he shows no recorded empathy, no plea for mercy, and no expression of sorrow over the impending destruction of his generation. The commentators call Noah selfish, very selfish. Abraham, by contrast, embodies an active, compassionate style of leadership. He does not simply follow commands, but engages with the divine on behalf of others. In the case of Sodom and Gomorrah, Abraham becomes an advocate, pleading with God to spare the cities if righteous people can be found within them. This act of intercession shows his deep empathy and commitment to justice, portraying Abraham as a moral leader who embodies chesed, loving kindness. Or a better translation of chesed yet, I think in this context would be, he embodies compassionate engagement with the world. The metaphor of light and shadow, like in a Rembrandt painting, captures the contrast between these two figures. Noah's story is shrouded in darkness, where his survival is marked by isolation and silence. Abraham and Sarah, however, bring light into the world, actively challenging the status quo of evil and injustice. Abraham's chesed becomes the foundation for a new type of leadership, a model that combines faith with profound empathy for others. Rabbi Adler suggests that Noah's lack of compassion was his fatal flaw, disqualifying him for being the founder of a new faith. Abraham, by embodying a higher ideal of compassionate leadership, set a standard that transcends passive obedience, making him a figure whose legacy is rooted in empathy and moral courage. As we look into the future, what type of leader will we have in just a few months? Will he or she govern with chesed, compassion, and kindness? Will he or she bring light or darkness into our lives? I pray that chesed, love and concern for everyone in our great nation, will become the guiding light for our next leader. And oh, I voted. Have you? Shabbat Shalom. Our service continues on page 586. We invite you, if you're able, to rise, page 586, and then the second half of Aleinu is on page 591.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, v'teinu l'alezeh b'reshit, shelo asaru b'goyei haratzon, v'lo samanu b'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'goy aleinu kekol hamonam, v'anachnu oreim u'mishachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, hayom hahu yihyeh Adonai echad, u'shmo echad.
You may be seated. Our thoughts turn now to those who have departed this earth. We have heard of the passing of Justin Singer, partner of Leah Lyons and father of Lexi, Jacob, Jordan, and Brady Singer, and Marianne Thomas, mother of Peter, pastor. As a congregation, we are observing the Shiva period for Milton Cernick, husband of Judy Cernick, and father of Barbara and Mark Gerson, and also father of Danny Danny Cernick, Rose Malport, mother of Krina Dunsmore. We are observing the Shloshim period for Catherine Sather, mother of Naomi Kaplan. We also think of our loved ones whom death has taken from us in years past, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose names have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. As a congregation, on this Shabbat, we remember the yortzais of Lori Gimbel, sister of Dan Rosen, Anne Ruth Golden, sister of Jonathan Golden, Helen Hirsch, grandmother of Barbara Krevitz, Eugene LeMay, father of Eddie Parak, Charles Mann, grandfather of Kelly Meisner, Alan Pardo, father of Marisa Reed, Vina Fletcher, mother of Phil Fletcher, Joseph Remus, grandfather of Barbara Remus, Ann Selick, mother of Larry Selick, Gertrude Silver, grandmother of Jean Silver and Ann Tarr, Anna Wise, member of our congregation, Herb Wolson, brother-in-law of Norman Levin. Zichronam Livracha, may the memories be for a blessing. Page 598, we invite you to stand as a congregation to recite Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. Gadal ve'itkadash shme rabba, be'alema divra chirute ve'yamlich malchute, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב זמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תוש בחטא ונחמתה, דע אמירן ועלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
עושה שלום, שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו. עושה שלום, שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו. ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל,
Thank you for joining us. Thanks to our cantor and our musicians, Bert and Phil. Thank you. And Zach, thanks for being here. We have a lot of things going on this weekend. I will refer you to our announcements. A personal plug, though, it is tomorrow at 10 a.m. starting a new series of Torah study classes. This is going to be about Joseph's narrative. And he's going to go through sometime in January when we end reading the book of Genesis and the stories of Joseph. So you'll be prepared for those Torah portions when they come, but we need to start now because there's a lot in it. So so we're going to get there together. And also, we don't meet every single Shabbat morning because we have Bat Mitzvah next week, and then we have Thanksgiving in the middle.
Oh yeah, that holiday.
And then I may actually be away one Shabbat. Imagine
My
that.
God! Such a thing can exist.
So it's going to happen one of these days. After 5 months, I think I may not see you on a Friday.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm going to be working, but somewhere else. Anyhow, I'll tell you later. Too much information, but please take this home with you. And of course, Rabbi Luz and I are teaching a class, and there's a lot of different things going on this weekend.
They know how to read, Rabbi.
No, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And thank you. Kat puts it together, so.
Amen.
Kat, thank you. And she puts it together. Your job is to take it home and read it over and over. Write commentaries and critical editions. We invite you to stand as we together offer a prayer for peace. It is on the second page of our program. And immediately after that, on page 657, if you need the words, we'll sing Od Yavo Shalom. Peace will come. Source of peace, sovereign of peace, establish peace among your people Israel, and let there be an ever-increasing peace among all peoples. May there be no more hatred, rancor, strife, or conquest between one human being and another. Let there be only love and great peace among us, so that each one of us may know the love of the other, until we are able to come and gather together, every person with another, so that we may speak one to the other, so that we may explain one to the other your truth. God, you are peace, and from you comes peace. Source of peace, bless us with peace. Amen.
Amen. Everybody say Od.
Od.
Everybody say. Okay. Everybody say Od Yavo.
Od Yavo.
Od Yavo.
Od Yavo.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu.
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 Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, shalom. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, shalom. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.